Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do my weekly reading update for the 1st of January 2023. Oh my gosh, it's kind of weird when the year changes. It's like, wow, did we really go through another whole year? Anyway, this last week was very different because again, I had the holidays from Christmas on, days off from work, and then going back to work and it being very, very quiet because a lot of people still were on vacation and just not a whole lot I needed to do. So it was really quiet. So I got a lot of reading done. Anyway, I mean, I did my job, but I bet there was a lot of downtime. And then it was really quiet every day. It's been pretty, bad. I mean, the weather's been fine. It's normal winter weather. We did have all the trees taken down on Wednesday all the ones we planned. The 5 of them that were the first priority. We have 2 more big fir trees that need to go down, but that'll be later this year probably. But because we have to get rid of all the wood that was left behind. So Wednesday they took it all down. That was great. They're going to come back and do the stumps later. So we had to move a lot of the wood between now and then. And then we found all this weed blocker under in the soil in my brother's backyard. And I spent yesterday a couple hours trying to tear that up while they were loading, my brother and my dad were loading wood into my dad's truck to take another load to a friend of ours. So at least some of the wood we got rid of. I still have quite a bit to get rid of. So I'm not sure. I'm going to try to see if anybody at work wants it, or then I'll put up something free online. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Anyway, before I can do those 2 big firs that are ginormous, I want to get all the rest of the wood from here done. So anyway, that project went well, and we got lucky because the windstorm hit again right before Christmas, and so a lot of people had issues with trees and stuff after that, but we were already in because we had our quote already done and they were ready to go, so we got lucky. Anyway, point is that's almost done, but there's a lot still work in the backyard to do. We will definitely have to redo landscaping at some point because my brother's backyard is so much bigger now with those 2 trees gone, and the front yard looks different because of all the 3 trees that we had out front that were gone. 2 were small and then 1 was a really big one, but still so weird looking. It's still getting used to it. So really that was kind of my focus. This was just work, and then again we had holidays that was really quiet the rest of the week, and then yesterday we did work out the yard. So I don't feel sore yet. I keep feeling I'm going to, because I did a lot of digging out that weed blocker crap that I really did not enjoy. Anyway, so we'll see how that goes. So anyway, I read a lot this week due to everything going on. I actually finished 11 things, but it's not quite as impressive as it sounds because I was thinking about reading a book that I want to read this week, last week, and then I made a decision. No, you know what? I found while going through my shelves and picking out series and finding out that one of the series that I thought I was completely up to date on had 4 novellas that I hadn't read, that I decided to focus on getting more series done. The other book would have been caught up, but I figured let's get stuff done that I've owned for a while. So I read 11 things, but 1 was a short story, 3 were novels, 2 were novels, 1 was a nonfiction, and then 6 were novellas that I finished through last night. So and again, I was trying to find something on Saturday to read that was short because I didn't want to start a new book. I mean, I could have. I'm not usually one of those people who has to be completely done with everything, but I just wanted a clean slate this year for some reason. So I did that. So yes, I'm talking way too much already. It's morning. Anyway, so we're going to go through what I read, and then what I'm not in the middle of anything because I've cleared off all my currently reading as well. Everything that was technically currently reading, or I had already kind of soft DNF'd it and put it aside for now, and I might come back to it. I put everything on hold. I put it back to want to read and on hold on Goodreads. They're all in my cart over here, which is way overfull with books that are partially done. But I had to clear it. I was tired of seeing all those books there that I wasn't touching, and I'm not ready to touch a lot of them. So if I pick it up, I pick it up. If I don't, I don't. Anyway. So anyway, and then we'll talk about the couple books that I think I'm going to read in the next week. So the first thing I finished on Tuesday was Atomic Habits, Tiny Changes, Remarkable Results by James Clear. So I reread this, I re-listened to it on audio. James Clear does do the audiobook narration. I remember really enjoying this a couple years ago when I read it. And again, this was just kind of doing those little, like reminding me of the little steps to take to start to do some things. There's a few projects I want to do this year and some habits I want to form. I think this is a really good book for just not taking on too much, but just looking at it in small pieces and doing what you can right now and then just building up to what you want to do. So I think it's a really good book on habits and looking at it. Again, I've read a couple of them on that, but this is my favorite. And I wanted to reread it this year just to kind of get myself jump started for the new year because I want to, there's a couple things I do want to do this year. So I did, I think had I started this last week? I don't remember, but I know I started, because I wasn't reading on Christmas Eve, that's right. So Christmas Day I started, The Princess Knight by G.A. Aiken. I was doing this as a reread because the third book was coming out. So, this is the second. And, I just adore this series. This is the Scarred Earth Saga. That she does. G.A. Aiken is also Shelley Lawrenston, so they're funny, violent, hilarious. But this is good fantasy, like this is a fantasy world, and it has all the magical creatures and stuff, and then two sisters who are fighting, pretty much for control of the country, of the continent kind of thing. And again, we're really rooting for one side because they're not the evil one. But this is following the sister, the next oldest sister in this family who is following one, is involved in everything from the beginning. So Gemma is just fun and Quinn is hilarious. So there is like a love interest in here, but it's not, I would not classify this anymore as a fantasy romance because the romance is very backseat. It is very much just kind of a little extra that you kind of get, and you get, one or two little scenes, but they're steamy, but that's not the point of these books. The books are fantasy and they are dealing with the political stuff going on, but these crazy people are crazy, and it's super violent, and it's fun. To me, this is a fun book, because it's just action adventure with a lot of humor that I get, I wouldn't want to be with these people like in real life, but dang, I just love them in the books. They're just funny. So, as I said, this was book 2. So I reread this. This came out in 2020. So I'd been waiting for a couple years for the third book. So, but I wanted to reread them because it had been 2 years since I read them. So, and I read the Blacksmith Queen, the week before. So, we did that. Okay. So then, I did, as I said, when I was doing all that series stuff, I found a couple of series that I hadn't finished, or I didn't know that there was a short story out for. So the short story is for the Wayward Children series by Seanan McGuire. It is called Skeleton Song. And this is following one of the characters who's kind of he's in the group of kids who are at Eleanor West's home for Wayward Children. I don't remember what the title, I don't remember how the school name goes, but the point is that he's there, and we kind of know a little bit about his story from the novels, but we haven't got a full thing on him. So she gave a little, like 25-page short story on his time in the world that he went to. And again, these are portal fantasies where the kids go through a door and they go to a world that's pretty much like attracts them, and then they stay there until for some reason they get kicked out. And then some of the novels in the series again follow the kids who have been kicked out and how they're reacting after they're back in the real world. And then other ones are showing the worlds that some of the kids got to go to. So this was just a little glimpse of what Christopher got to go, what his was, and it really helped solidify some of the things I remember him saying in some of the books about his world. So I liked that. I really liked this little short story. It was, like I said, it was only 25 pages, but it was another one. It came out in, I think, November, and I didn't know about it, so I just wanted to read it before the new book, book number 8, I believe, comes out. I think it's 8 that comes out in January, so which I'm pre-ordered already because I love the Wayward children series. So let's see here. Okay, so then again, so I found that short story that I didn't know I hadn't read in the series. And then I found that the Elder Races series that I finished, well, I thought I finished probably about like 6 years ago. There were some novellas that came out, and I have bought them all in 2018 and 2020 and one in 2021. And I had bought all these 4 novellas, but I did not realize that they were, I mean, I knew that they were part of the Elder Races, that series, when I when I bought them, but I kind of forgot about them. Anyway, so I found them, and now I'm caught up to date. So supposedly there might be a novel coming this next year. I'm not sure, but I'm caught up. This is another one now that I'm caught up on. So the first one was The Chosen, and these are all by Thea Harrison. So again, the Elder Races series is following a world where it's pretty much our modern day, except there are certain creatures called the Elder Races, and there are people who are dragons and griffins and harpies and other. Why does he always have to do that? Stop. And other creatures. And so normally they take place in our world. It's our world, but the Elder Races are in elves and stuff. There's a lot of things going on, and vampires and jinn. There's like a lot of different races. It's really a cool world building, and if you read all the books, there's 9 full books in the series, and then there's a lot of novellas. So The Chosen, though, is kind of weird because this actually takes place in what they call the Other Lands, which is, Cooper is just pacing and he's going for that door. So the Other Lands are connected to our real world, and they're different kind of, they're like other dimensions kind of thing, or, alternate worlds. And this takes place all in one of the worlds that I don't remember that we visited in the other books. I think I've heard the name before. We might have visited in other of some of the other novellas that I have as well. But The Chosen was really good. It was following kind of more. This is more kind of felt more medieval kind of thing, because it was talking about there was this army coming to this what do you call that? Kind of monastery like, but it's not. I mean, it was a citadel kind of thing, and they the Chosen lives there, and this guy is coming who is battle ready, and he is trying to get them on his side because he is trying to fight one of the other countries who is trying to destroy everybody kind of behind their backs. And so there's this political stuff as well, but it's also their attraction to each other when she is when one of the people is sent to be his kind of liaison, and the things that happen there. And he has his own problems of people who are trying to manipulate him. And so, and it was a good little story. It was just like 176 pages, 75, something like that. And so it was just but it was really weird because it was kind of out of context to the rest of the story. So it was the first one I read, and I felt kind of weird because I'm like, man, I don't know any of these characters. I don't know anything. And it wasn't. It was really just a story within that world. So wasn't what I expected. It was still really good. So you could totally read this one without knowing, like without reading all the other books, because it's not connected in any way. You kind of hear a few things, but it's not enough. And then I went on to read Planet Dragos, which is again the next novella. This one was only about I think 130 pages. So this one is following the main couple from the first book in the series, who has appeared throughout a lot of the novellas and has appeared in most of the books at some point or other. And so that's where one of them gets kidnapped. They're in Vegas for another couple who is getting married. That's in one of the other books. And you get to see like glimpses of all the characters. And this was kind of like a refresher for me because it's been so long since I read the series. This is actually a series, the Elder Race series is definitely one I want to reread, but maybe not this year. Now that I've read all these novellas right now, maybe not another year. We'll see. I might just break down and read all the books again. But so this is again in Vegas, and one of them gets kidnapped, and there's all this stuff going on. So And this one's kind of more connected. You have to read all the novellas in between and the books and stuff. So not quite as easy to just jump in. But I did enjoy that. And then this is why I figured out that I had the novellas, is I had one, for some reason, I bought in paperback, which I'm not quite sure. I also had the ebook. So I must have thought, oh, there's something new, and I bought it. And then I didn't read it. Anyway, so this is The Unseen. So this is now another story of Dragos and Pia, and they're going to one of the other lands that's not the same as the Chosen, and they're going to settle there for a while, and things start happening where somebody's moving stuff around, and they're not quite sure, why. It's kind of, and people are feeling like there's other people there, but they can't see them, so that's why it's called The Unseen. And then this is I think this is the 150. Well, about 137. I think this is this one. I think the next one was another, what do you call it? Another 176. And that was, oh, wrong. Too many programs, too many pictures. Was The Adversary. Oh, crap. This thing is stupid. Anyway, go. Sorry. Picture's not great. Sorry. And so this was the last one that's out so far. The Adversary these were part 1 and part 2. So this definitely leaves on a high cliffhanger. I was so glad that I got to go right into the next book, and I didn't have to wait the months in between the two. So anyway, so there's a bad guy they have to deal with, and anyway, so again, it's very much, you get to see all the characters who are from all the books, a lot of the books that are in the series. So this is more something, again, you don't want to read unless you've read the whole series. I totally recommend starting with Dragon Bound. The Elder Races is just a fun series. As I said, I've really enjoyed it. Definitely one I want to go back to and reread, but now I'm caught up on it, which I thought I was caught up, and now, or I thought it was finished, and now I find out that there might be another, as I said, another novel coming, or more novellas. I'm not sure. So we'll see what happens. So anyway, I'm hoping for more. I love that world, as I said, and I will reread it at some point. Okay, then I got The Heretic Royal by G.A. Aikens. This is book 3 in the Scarred Earth series, because now for sure I know there's going to be more. The way this ends, this is not a trilogy. This is definitely going to be a series. I'm so excited because there's so many characters in here that I want their story. I want the book that follow them. So now we're following the fourth oldest sister in the family that we've been following from the other 2 books. Ainsley is, because she's just, she's slightly younger than her 2 older sisters, they kind of ignore her a lot and forget that she's there. And it's kind of has to do with how big their family is, and that, they just, there's too many of them. Anyway, the point, but she has a tendency to climb trees and stuff. She's just fun. I like her. And then she also has her little romance in here, but really it's her stepping up and learning her place in the hierarchy in this new queendom. And I really enjoyed this because it kind of showed how some of the sisters, the other siblings, are starting to look at what they can do for the sister that they support and what they want to do with their lives and stuff. And so as they get there, so I know for sure, I'm hoping we get the next sister. There's still a cousin that's an older protagonist that I would really love to have her get a book too. So I'm hoping there's at least 2 more coming. I mean, I still have to wait for them, but I really like the Heretic Royal. Again, I just got this week. I finished it on Friday, so I was really glad to get this done. But now I gotta wait for more books. But again, another series that I'm caught up on before the end of the year. And as I said, fantasy, just fun, hilarious fantasy is all I gotta say. And then yesterday I was planning to read like as many books as I could in one day, and I had this whole plan. I was going to do this vlog and blah blah blah. Well, and then my parents came up and we did stuff with the backyard, so that kind of threw that out the window. The first book I finished yesterday was The House on Mango Street by Sandra Cisneros. So this one I just picked up recently in, I think, October at that library book sale. And I'd always heard about this one, but I'd never read it. So this is published in 1984. And this isn't like a book that I would normally be drawn to, but because it was like little vignettes, the stories, a lot of them just were short, couple pages for each chapter. It read really fast. It's only 110 pages. But what I found about this that was so fascinating was that it would be just kind of normal everyday life. It's very slice of life of this young girl in Chicago growing up, and what she was going through, and little slices of people she lives near and other people, and they were all from different places before they came to Chicago, or from this area, or they move in and out, and family members that had issues. And it was just like little slices of life, except that a lot of times at the end of each of those of the vignettes, there would be like this punch, like as in it just hurt you. Some of the things that she went through or dealt with, and some of the other people as well. It was heartbreaking in certain parts. And I was so surprised at how hard-hitting this little book was. I don't think it's a perfect thing. I think it's, for what it is, it's really well done. And I do recommend that if that is interesting to you at all, because again, it's a really fast read, but you know, there's some chapters where you're like, okay, that was fine. And then the next one just got you. It was just like, it was a weird kind of dichotomy between the two. Like, again, some were very lighthearted kind of things, like normal things that I can relate to. And then other ones were hurt. It just hurt how some of these people were treated, or things that happened to them. I mean, it was sad in some ways. And so, I did enjoy this. I'm glad I read it. Again, I did read it yesterday because it was short, because I picked off several short novels, short novellas that I was going to read yesterday, trying to get something done because I didn't want to start anything too big new, I guess. I don't know why, but anyway, but that one was really good, and I'm surprised at how much I like that. I then finished The Emperor's Soul by Brandon Sanderson. So I listened to this on ebook by Angela Lynn, and it was really well done. Or on ebook, by audiobook, by Angela Lynn. My problem with this is that it's just about 100 pages, novella. And I've heard about this for years, how great it is. And I would agree, it's written really well. The world building is fantastic. This is based in the same world as Elantris, which is one of the Sanderson books I have not read yet, which is on my list to read this year. My problem with The Emperor's Soul is the characters, because there were how do I explain this? So I have a thing about lying and cheating, kind of thing in my books. And like, there's certain kind of characters, like I don't really like reporters in my stories, because I feel like they always cross lines, and I don't want to read that. I just don't care. The main character is a forger, and what she can do is she can forge things by using these soul stamps, and it's just a fascinating magic system. But what she does is she makes it into something else, like makes it want to be something else, or makes a person be somebody else with this stamp on them. And fascinating magic. I mean, that part is incredible. Brandon Sanderson, of course, is very awesome with his magic systems. My problem is I just didn't care about her, and it was really hard for me to read about it, because she was manipulating the whole time things into her way. And I did like the way this went. I'm glad I made it to the end. I was 20 pages from the end, and I just I don't want to read this anymore or listen to it. And I forced myself last night to just finish it, because I wanted to be done before the end of the year. But also I'm like, it's 20 pages. It's like 40 minutes on audio. I just need to finish it. And so I did. And I'm glad I did, because I liked the way it went, and I liked the questions and things that came up in the story in the end. I did like all that. It was really hard for me to connect to somebody who spent their whole life lying and cheating and, being this master forger. And yet, that was what their drive was. That was their passion. And I just don't understand that. And it was really hard for me. So I think there's people who love this story, and I totally get it. It was really well done for 100 pages, very complete. Again, it's in the Arcanum Unbound book that I got, before. So I've read at least one story out of here now. I mean, as I said, I'm hoping to, make progress in this as I get deeper into the Cosmere. So there are, I think there might be a couple short stories I can read out of here for Mistborn Era 1. I don't think I'm ready for the ones for Mistborn Era 2, but, as I said, I'm going to keep this and I'll read that. But I'm glad I read The Emperor's Soul. It just is not a favorite of mine, mostly just due to characters and stuff. So that's, how that works. And then the last book I read was Hell Island by Matthew Riley. So again, I had like 3 or 4 short novels that I could have read, but Matthew Riley just reads super, super fast. And I just want to get it done before the end of the night. This is 122 pages of just an action pack out of like unrealistic military action. We're following Shane Schofield, who is the Scarecrow. This series is actually 3.5 in that series. I've only read book 1. So luckily they didn't spoil too much from the books the 2 books I haven't read yet. Then there's a book beyond this, but he's a Marine and he runs a unit, a special forces unit kind of thing. And they get landed on this island that is kind of been written off the maps. And they get there and it just goes to hell right away. This was very unrealistic, but it, it's very military action. It's all action. I mean, it's just pretty much an action scene all the way through. I do like Matthew Riley's because it's just fun. This one actually has some pictures in it, which is pretty cool, which is normal. His normal thing though is he has maps and things that I've seen in his other books. Like I love the Jack West, so like maps of the island that they're on. So the Jack West Jr. series, which is another one I need to get back to read the books that I've read, reread the two more books in that series that I've read, and then read the last 4 and finish that series off. So that's another goal of mine. But this one is another series, again, that I've only read 1 book in. Now I've read 1.5, or I've done 2, and I have 3 more books to read. But it was just fun. It was exciting and fast. And I really enjoyed getting back to his writing just because it's fun and, again, super, super unrealistic. But he knows his military stuff and he's got all the names and all the maneuvers and all that stuff. It was fun. Very light, easy read, and just fast-paced, really short sections. So you just blow through them. I really need to get back to the Jack West series. And actually now I want to go back to the Scarecrow series and finish off the other books because I have at least one of them, but I might need to get the other ones. But anyway, I did really enjoy that. So that was the last book of 2022, which was a really great reading year. Overall, I read 220 books, but a lot of those were rereads. So I think it was, what did I say? It would be 71 of those were rereads, I believe. I'll have my better numbers when I do my stats. Just know I did a lot of rereading this year. Most of that was Nalini Singh, but I did a lot of rereading overall and a lot of series where I was reading books to get back into it and then continue on. So I did a lot of that. So really, really quick, since Cooper is looking at me like, move on, cat. Move on, person. The next audiobook I'm going to pick up is Square Haunting by Francesca Wade. I have the audiobook that I got on some sale at some point, and this is following 5 writers in London between World War I and World War II and how they deal with it. One of them is Virginia Woolf. I don't remember who the other ones are. Oh, Dorothy L. Sayers, classicist Jane Harrison, economics historian Elaine Power. I thought there was one more. Anyway, so I know it has to do with these women who all lived in the same kind of area during this time period. I said I picked this up mostly for Virginia Woolf, but I kind of want to read about Dorothy L. Sayers as well and some of the others. So anyway, this is going to be the next audiobook. I'll probably start that on Tuesday when I go to work. And then today I'm going to either pick up Nona the Ninth by Tamsin Muir, which is book 3 in the Locked Tomb series. I've been wanting to pick this up since I bought it. And I definitely want to pick it up this week. But I might pick up The Queen of Raiders by Sarah Kozlov first. I don't think so. I think Nona's going to win. But we will start it and see what happens. I mean, this is, you know, Epic Fantasy Book 2 and the 9 Realms series. I read the first book, was my first book of 2022. So I don't really want this to be my first book of 2023 because that's not boding well for it. But if I figure if I read it after I read Nona, and Nona would be then I'd be caught up on the Locked Tomb series because this is book 3. So I might read this and then pick up this, or pick up a little book in between and then go on to this. I have so many books that I want to read. If you guys have seen all the videos I had the last week and a half, there's so many books that I have on my TBR shelves now that are just calling to me. But these ones are the ones I want to pick up early in the month, and then try to get through some of the other more priority reads first, and then let myself kind of mood read through the rest of the month is kind of where I'm looking at. But I'm pretty sure this sci-fi is what's going to call to me first. But this one's really close, so it might be later this week. Anyway, so that is it. I know it was another long video, but I did read 11 things. A lot of them short. I caught up on 3 series. And I read one that was kind of out of sync, which is not normal for me. The Scarecrow one, like that's really weird for me to pick up a book that's kind of in the middle, but it was small. And I really wanted to read something from him. So again, that tells me I have to get back to the other books of his just for fun. I just need to do it because they're just a fun ride. And I think that's it. Cooper is getting tired, I can see. But I will now, I'm going to finish up today. I'm going to probably figure out what my best and worst books were for 2022, because I haven't done that at all. I want to wait till I always wait till the January to do all that that kind of wrap up stuff. So we'll probably get that out this week. My series, I'm gonna finish. I have just my a couple things upstairs and a couple things out in the front room, and then I have to do all my mystery and get those series on my list. And then once I'm done with that, I can compile and I can give you my Serious About Series update from 2022. And then, as I said, I have a TBR also that I already put out of things I want to read. But again, I'm already adding series that I want to get to because I want to read everything. So anyway, how is your guys reading for the end of the year? How did you do? Did you do what I did and maybe read a couple of small books just to, it wasn't that I was bumping the number up, it's more of I just didn't want to start another one, which is, again, I don't usually have that problem of saying, oh, just starting it, you know, the day before and then going into the next year. But for some reason, this year I just wanted to clear everything off and start kind of afresh and make sure I wasn't reading something at the beginning of the year. I don't know why. I don't know. But let me know if you guys do that too. Or if that's just, it was just a weird year for me and I did it this year. So, oh, I guess I should really quickly do this just because I'll wipe this board and then I'll rewrite it. So series wise, I did a lot of continues because I did the Heretic Royal, I did the 4 novellas, and I did the Scarecrow, the Hell Island. Is that it? I think that's it. I did have a reread, or 2 rereads. But I'm going to mark the one nonfiction as another nonfiction because I still read another one. I did read 4 ebooks. I didn't have any big books. but this is the best quarter where I hit all the numbers. So that is for the end of the quarter. That's as close as I'm going to get. You can see my continue is fantastic. Finish, you know, not as good this time. I think September I just knocked so many out that it was really good. But and then I'm going to work on my translated. My rereads are a lot. Did I just do my rereads? I don't think I did. Anyway, so that's the end of this year. And I will, as I said, I will clear this off and kind of reformat this for what I want for this year. I haven't decided yet on that either, but that's next week's problem. So anyway, let me know what you're reading. How are you guys doing? What are you excited for into the new year? Let me know, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.